The Neural Foundations of Action and Reaction in Aversive Motivation is the paper if you want to follow along, but I'm going to go into like some basic neurology stuff that I just learned basically. If you already know biology, then maybe you know this stuff, but I think it is profoundly fascinating and really significant in its implications. And the general concept that we're working with here is Pavlovian learning or Pavlovian threat conditioning. So Pavlov's dog, that whole idea, which you are probably familiar with. That's the part that I did already know, which it's not speaking to specifically, but that's you play beep. I don't know what the exact example is, but you play beep when you give dog treat. Treat dog learns that beep means treat. Literally, actually, this is amazing. I have this. I've been teaching Buck to press it to get treats. Oh, okay, great. So I can move somewhere less awkward. And I don't know, maybe at the end of the video, I'll try to show you quickly him pressing it, and then I'll just go straight into hanging out with him and training him for a sec. But basically, I mean, you would have seen like cat, dog buttons or whatever they learn to talk. I'm teaching him to talk. He's got 3 buttons so far. He's good at pressing the treat one. He hasn't realized he can press the chase one. That's his favorite game. And the scratches one. But scratches, he just walks onto you. So I don't know if that's a useful one to have anyway, because why is he going to go press scratches when he can just invade your space? He learned that when he tapped the button, he got a treat, and then he learned that when he pressed the button, he got a treat. There was nuance in between there, but you get the idea. Pavlovian threat conditioning is pain when beep, basically, and we're talking about the neurology of that, what the science of the neurons are doing. And I'm going to pull up a thing because then I'm going to remember it more correctly. But basically, we have unconditioned stimulus and conditioned stimulus. Unconditioned stimulus is the already brain knows bad. Brain already knows bad, or body already knows bad, sorry. And so electric shock, bad. Then, or I don't know, like tiger running at you, bad. Yeah. I don't know if there's other layers to that. I can definitely say electric shock bad. Somatosensory input. The amygdala is the one that receives this. So the amygdala has different sections. It has nuclei and it has subnuclei. The nuclei are the sort of broad subdivisions of the fucking brain, amygdala. There we go. And then the subnuclei are subdivisions within the subdivisions. Like, yeah, I don't know what good you can come up with an analogy. So, unconditioned stimulus is we know bad. Conditioned stimulus is we learn bad. So, those inputs come in. The amygdala reacts. So let's say we have a mouse in a cage. Every time a beep plays, an electric shock happens. And this is the experiment that is being spoken about in this research. And this video probably should have started here. It would have been much more interesting if it started here. So we're learning things. It comes into the first section, which is the LAD. No, the LA. It's the LA. Hold on. The amygdala, trying to remember. No, I'm just going to look at it. The LA is the lateral nucleus. That's where the information comes in. Then the basal nucleus and the accessory basal nucleus, the B and the ABA, we don't need to remember that. I'll try to use the actual words, are the transmission channels within the amygdala. So external stuff sent from the body, sent from nerves to the doorway into the amygdala. Then the hallway is the basal nucleus and accessory basal nucleus. And then the back door, I guess, is door into the other rooms of the brain, whatever, is the central nucleus, CEA. and then there are subnuclei. I haven't really learned about the nuance there yet, but that's how we can identify really specific mechanics of what is happening. That's what I know so far, and this is all super relevant to motivation, obviously, because this is how we learn that we don't like things. And aversive motivation, defensive motivation, would have been another good place to start, is how we learn to procrastinate, to avoid something by numbing, and that's why it's relevant to this, relevant to what I do. So the unconditioned stimulus is by default bad. Then a conditioned stimulus is, say, the beep. So the beep plays, electric shock happens when the beep plays, or in close association, but in this experiment, when the beep plays, electric shock. It becomes conditioned. The beep was fairly neutral, it was innocuous. Mouse didn't care. Did I mention the mouse? I'm doing a bad job. Mouse didn't care. Then the electric shock happens. Now mouse cares. Neurons that fire together wire together. That is called the Hebbian principle, if I'm getting that right, or Hebbian principle. I'm sure named after a person, most likely. And the mechanic is strong depolarization, is the biological mechanic. So there's a electric charge on the outside of a nucleus. Let's double check my information here. The nucleus, there is a, come on, here we go, minus 70 millivolts inside the nucleus, the neuron membrane. There's a charge on the outside and there's a charge on the inside. When the charge on the inside of the neuron, there we go, is negatively charged relative to the outside. When the inside of the neuron becomes less negative, it shifts towards zero or even becomes positive through some interesting other things that I'm not going to try to understand quite yet because this is complex enough for me. I didn't do fucking biology or anything. We're learning things. Then basically strong enough difference in charge says this is significant. And it's figuring out what's significant based on built-in stuff for a start. So the unconditioned stimulus is that by default equals strong depolarization equals neuron goes whoop, is how I'm understanding it. And neurons that fire together wire together. And so when the beep neurons fire at the same time, then they're going whoop together, they wire together. Now there's a pathway of information of beep to whoop, and so everyone whoops when beep happens. We can apply this very generally, and this is how I'll wrap up for today. We can apply this very generally to you learn email equals stress. Cortisol happens with email. There's a bunch of other learnings over time that might lead there, but very generally, now we've got negative whoops happening, and so emails equal a negative whoop equal I employ defensive strategy, aversive strategy to protect myself from that thing. So that's what we got for today. That's what I learned for today. We'll wrap up there. Hope that was followable, I suppose. But I guess I'll say it more in future because it'll become relevant as foundations for other things that I'm talking about. And I'm going to make sure I really understand this stuff. And it's in there, So, because I'm fascinated by it and I want to memorize it. And the hippocampus also defines what is important. Well, the amygdala. The amygdala is also defining this is important, this is a value. So care about this because I'm getting excited as I learn about it. So I guess, yeah, we're reinforcing that too. I'm going to learn that way. And if you want to follow along, you'll get some interesting stuff. You can dip in and dip out, and hopefully these videos become much more succinct and much more interesting and much more followable as we go. So look forward to that. You can dip in and see if the start of the videos are interesting yet or not. And if they're still meandering and crazy, you know what? I'm going to come back in a week and see if Sam's better. But I'm going to try and do these every day, I think. I'm not going to be super strict about it because I don't like when a thing, it's not a duty. I'm doing this because of excitement, but I want to do it a lot so that I can become better at it. We'll see if the title, I know the title will be shit because I don't know how to do that yet, but that's why I'm practicing. Anyway, cool. See you soon.